Hi everyone! First, I want to thank you for all the support on my Queen card video. It really means the world to me, and I'm so happy to see one of my videos blowing up. And thank you for all the nice comments you've left me. Now that that's kind of out of the way, today I will be talking about K-pop opinions that K-pop stans are not ready to hear. Now, none of these opinions are meant as hate or to be rude or send mean comments to anyone, but they are just facts that some of K-pop stans, myself included, sometimes do need to accept even though we forget about them. So these are my own opinions, and if they offend you, you can just click away. You'll have to leave a hate comment, but we can always have civil discussions about everything on my channel. Okay, so please just remember, don't send hate to literally anyone. None of the people mentioned in this video or any of the idols mentioned in this video, or well, even me, if you disagree, I would appreciate you not sending me hate, but I can't really control that. Okay, so just remember, these opinions might offend you or they might not be your cup of tea, but that's fine. And yeah, I can start with the video now. Thank you for listening to this disclaimer. Okay, so opinion number 1. K-pop girl groups make way better music than K-pop boy groups. Now, this is obviously a generalization and you can't really compare it without comparing group by group and making like a versus points. But I am talking like looking at the bigger picture. Overall, girl groups have way more memorable songs, way more bangers that do get stuck in your head than compared to boy groups, especially now in the fourth generation. If I don't know, you have your if you have your third gen or your second gen favorites, I can maybe even get into that argument. But especially in the fourth generation, you have to admit that the K-pop girl groups truly do make way better music. Like just compare, I don't know, New Jeans, ITZY, aespa, IVE, LE SSERAFIM to like Boy Next Door, Astro, and Hypen, TXT, Stray Kids. None of those groups make bad music per se, and it would be really rude and incorrect overall to say that they do. But I think any girl group in terms of music quality can fight against most boy groups, literally anyone that you would pick. And obviously this is a very subjective opinion, but I think it deserves to be said. Girl group songs are a lot more catchy and a lot less focused on that kind of fan service. Girl groups are more focused on aegyo comparing to fan service, so their music is a lot more digestible, and I think in the long run it will last longer and it's just better, like I said, in my opinion. So yeah, okay, that is opinion number 1. Opinion number 2. Cookielit as a channel is very subjective in their news, and they are a poor source of information about K-pop overall. Now, I don't support shading anyone or any K-tuber, and I kind of wanted to avoid talking about this, but there aren't enough people talking about this channel as a whole, and I think there really should be, because Cookielit is very problematic. Other than their fishy thumbnails, one can say, and the way that they infantilize idols or put them in risky position and spread rumors as they are news, their much bigger problem is their misinformation spreading and the way that they talk about the news that are true even overall. Because Cookielit is, if you have not heard about this channel, it's a channel that gives you K-pop news basically on a daily basis. Like whatever happened in K-pop that day, whatever, it's going to be on that channel and kind of talked about. Now obviously whenever you watch a kind of a YouTube channel, you expect to see a subjective opinion because you are watching a YouTube channel and someone has to comment on it. But channels like Cookielit are some channels that we call news types of channels, so they mostly are there to bring news, and I mean you can see that by their machine-like structure and how they pump out news every day, literally at the speed of light, which means that their news should be based in reality and overall at least mostly true, if not 100%. But they bring their own subjective opinions into the news they are talking about and mostly have really fake things. I don't know, one example that I had at the top of my head that really surprised me in a way was Jennie's debut in The Idol. Cookie was talking about the team and talked about how Jennie got backlash for acting in The Idol, which is the truth, yes. But then they talked about how she was actually a part of the original cast and how she was forced to stay in this new cast when Sam Levinson joined, but she really didn't want to, though poor Jennie had no choice. Now, I'm not here to shade Jennie overall. I have a whole entire video on the Idol situation, but that's not the point. The point is that Cookie Lit, the thing that they said about Jennie having no choice and being in the original cast is false. That never happened. Jennie was never in the original cast of The Idol, and Sam Levinson invited her personally herself, and she was truly impressed by the way he directed Euphoria, and she really wanted to be in this project, so she offered her own services, which is fine, she's a grown woman. But the point is that they keep misrepresenting news or rumors as news while ignoring actual factual evidence and also putting positive lights on idols that they like versus negative light on idols that they don't like. Now, if I sound like a hypocrite and say that, well, you shade idols as well, and almost all K-tubers do. Yes, almost all K-tubers do have their opinions about a certain idol, but most K-tubers are also not news-focused channels. So if your task is to bring news, then you shouldn't be subjective in it. I think that's the least you can do. Okay, I ranted a bit in this one, but that's it on this opinion. G-Idol are actual 4th gen leaders. Now, I know that there's a lot of debate about who actually is leading 4th generation right now. At first it was ITZY, then aespa, and then people were arguing about it as a lot of new groups came to the scene like IVE and New Jeans. But the truth is, G-Idol are actual, real 4th generation leaders. I mean, the fact that their songs keep blowing up even after losing a member, that every song they have brings in a new audience. Netizens and fans listen to them all the time and they keep blowing up on all streaming platforms, have tons of fans, and are absolutely leading in awards comparing to all of the other 4th generation groups. Also, their influence is just there. I mean, people know about them even if they aren't fans of K-pop, and Tomboy, Nude, and even Queen Card are blowing up in the West, as well as their tour that is really visited right now. And they kind of get excluded from that conversation all the time, which is very weird in my opinion. But yeah, G-Idol are actual 4th generation leaders, while 4th generation doesn't have as a clear leader as 3rd generation had. I think that if you do think they have a leader, that leader is definitely G-Idol right now. K-pop stans are the real reason why idols are put under such strict regimes by their companies. Now, obviously not exactly, like none of us made the companies put idols under these regimes, and half of them are for work ethic and things, and most of the stans fight to release idols or at least loosen their strict restrictions up a bit more. But we see all the time conversations about how 2nd gen and 1st gen K-pop idols did a lot more things and were under a lot less pressure by their companies, but that is because they were also under a lot less pressure by the fans. 1st and 2nd generation of K-pop was mostly Korean based, maybe sometimes in Japan, and very little in the West, but like I said, mostly Korea and Japan. And the fans there were strict because, I mean, that's the culture that they live in, but a little less. The times were different, and Koreans were a little less focused on beauty, a little more on the economy and things of that, but their idols didn't need to be perfect. They needed to produce good music and be relatable, but there wasn't as much pressure on looking perfect and things. Sure, there were still strict diets and idols needed to be slim and things, but older people who were at the time the most marketed to by the K-pop industry didn't care about it that much. Not until the new generation, the younger millennials and people who just started getting into K-pop, like Gen Z, did the K-pop companies realize that the beauty was the new trend. Also, by the rise of popularity of K-pop, sasaengs, the stalking fans who keep bothering idols for literally no reason, and as well the illusion that K-pop idols are your friends or your boyfriend or girlfriend, was pushing and becoming way more mainstream, and the K-pop companies wanted to cash in on that. So half of the strict diets and things that weren't present in the first or the second gen started when the third gen was coming, and is now even stronger in the fourth generation, where two idols, if they just look at each other or have similar Instagram posts, are assumed to be dating. And whenever someone is relieved to be dating or getting married, K-pop stans freak out. Like the time that K-pop stans sent trucks full of demands because one of the EXO members was getting married, which is ridiculous. I mean, if they support him, they should be happy for him, not send angry trucks because he is getting married. So half of the stupid rules that we hate about K-pop and that we talk about companies to release and stop are our fault. Now, obviously, this probably cannot be fixed until K-pop loses a bit more of its grip on the public right now, or trends kind of end and people stop caring about that, like the generation Alpha ends up being completely different and they care about smarts or something, and then all of a sudden all of the K-pop idols will be forced to study. So yes, while I don't blame anyone individually or even a group of people, the culture shifted so much that K-pop stans think that they are entitled to their idols, which is the reason the companies keep putting more and more pressure on these poor idols, even though they are human beings just like any of us. So those are my opinions on K-pop stans and things they needed to hear, and just some unpopular K-pop opinions, because I have different videos coming, but I really didn't know what to post in this window, and I wanted to keep consistent with my posting, so yeah. And once again, thank you for all of the attention my channel has been getting recently. I really appreciate that, and I really appreciate everyone who tunes in, leaves a like or a comment. Truly, I really read them all. I mean, there's not much, but I still read them all. And I really appreciate you even for watching this video, and even if you disagree with me or fight me in the comments, I love you, and we will have like an enemies to lovers arc or something. I don't know. But yes, thank you for watching this video. Please tell me your opinions down in the comments. Like it if you enjoy it, and tune in for the next one. Okay, goodbye.